resume recording. So this, starting from now, this is what will be available on the YouTube website. So I'm going to go back down and I'm going to share again. And I'm going to share the Dreamweaver page. So anyway, this is the first bit of content that's been added in lesson 9. It starts with the green news page. Let me reduce this over here so I can see what I'm doing here. Okie doke. I hope everybody can see. So if we look in my files, this is for lesson 9. We have a folder with the finished lessons. We're going to start today with green news and hopefully work with green tips. These are both pretty easy. The most difficult one will be the events page, because the events uses tables, and tables are easy to use, but they are difficult to style. So we'll leave that for the last page. So we'll start with green news. And this is what it looks like finished. So let me go back to Css Designer. And you can see that we've added content for green buildings earn more green, shopping green saves energy, and we've added content to the right side. And you'll notice that the H2 tag inside here has been styled, so it's a little bit larger, it's bold, and it's green. And everything inside that, each one of these groups, if I select a section, you'll see that it has been placed, each of these groups here have been placed inside a section tag. And that can be done by just doing that in the code view, or we can do it from the DOM and wrap a tag around it. It will be entirely up to you. I generally prefer doing it by hand inside the code view. It's not hard, you know, starting with the opening tag ahead of the H2 tag here, and then scrolling to the very end, and then putting a closing tag for a section tag. And that will allow us to stylize the H2 tag in here and make it green a little bit bolder and not affect any other H2 tags anywhere else. Okay, so this is what we're going to start with today. Now they have also provided for us, let me switch back again to files. Under resources, they provided for us for the calendar. When we get to that, it will be an HTML file, classes, a CSV file. But what we will be working with today and probably on Tuesday are RTF files, which are text documents that just simply stand for rich text file. Okay, so this already has some tags embedded in them. So what I'm going to do first off, I'm going to go to Site, and I'm going to go to Manage Sites. And here's the one that I created for Spring 2018. This is the one that I've selected. And I want to make sure that in here I have, on my desktop, I have the lessons for Dreamweaver 2017. And so I want to make sure that that is linked to the lesson 9 folder, okay, which it is. And then you need to make sure that you do the same. And then again, for the advanced settings, we go to local info, and for our image folder, make sure that the image file that is linked to is inside lesson 9. Okay, so choose that, and then we're good to go. Done. Okay, so to start a brand new page, to duplicate what we've done here, I'm going to go to File, New. And what I want to do is open it, a new file, a child page from My Green template. Okay, so that's the template that we were working on in lesson 8. I'm going to go ahead and create a blank file or blank page. And here we have our 3 editable regions, and we'll start right here with the main content in here. So if I double click on the heading 1 tag, we're just going to type this in by hand. And I'm going to go over here and make sure I'm going to look at my book itself that I put in the correct text. And it is, it's green news. That's all it is here. So we put green news. And I, by the way, am in split view with live view. The subheading here, we don't need. So I can select the H2 tag down here, and I can just delete the whole thing here. Let me just come back here and just delete. I don't need that. And where it says the paragraph tag, where it says add content here, again, we're going to add that by hand as well. So it just says, I believe, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It won't be the end of the world. Read the latest Echo news and commentary for, whoops, can't type. For and about, I can't type. For and about Meridian. Okie doke. So here we go here. Now we're ready to add more content. And that content is going to come from over here, where they provide for us in resources. I'm going to go ahead and open up Green News, a rich text format. And there we have it, okay? So notice that it's already broken down. Here's our this will be an H2 tag. It's a heading right here. Green buildings earn more green, and then down here, shopping green. So we want to preserve all of these paragraph tags. So I'm going to go ahead and select Command A, select all. Okay, I'm going to hide this. I'm going to come back here. Now, if I paste from live view, watch what happens. Let's click back in here. I want to select after that. So come on. I want to, and it's not going to work. If I go ahead and I hit paste, it pastes it all, but notice that it just jumbles it all together. Okay. No, I got the wrong one here. Hold on here. Let me go back to the rich text format again. And I want to copy all of that. Let's come back again. Let's try again. And if I paste all of that, there you go. Notice that all my paragraph breaks are gone. And you can put that in by hand, but it just will take a lot of time. And this is something that I forget myself, that instead of inserting it in live view, we have to, let me move this down a little bit. I have to switch back to design view. So now if I paste after that, notice that it's been pasted in here, but it's preserved all of the paragraph tags that were in the rich text format. So now I can go back to, if I can, let's go back to, I can't see because it's covering up my, oh shoot, come on. Oh, there we go. I want to switch back to live view. There we go. So now we have the gray news, and we have that, but we lost the other paragraph. So I probably need to put that back in. So that's my bad. we'll come back up here, and after the H1 tag, I'll just go ahead and hit the return key in code view, and I'm going to put in a new paragraph. Again, P tag. Okay, and I'll put that in again. So that's where that goes. Again, that was read the latest. Echo news and commentary for and about M-E-R-I-D-I-E-N. There we go. Okay. So now what we want to do is take each of these chunks so that when I style the H2 tag, because right now, if I select this, notice that that's a P tag. That needs to be changed to an H2 tag. And we can do that now. With that selected, if I go back to it in blue, I hit Command T, we can change that from a P tag to an H2 tag. Okay. And it changes that. So we can do that for each of these first if we want. Shopping green news, the same thing. If I hit Command T, for those of you on a PC at home, that would be Control T. I'll change that again to an H2 tag. Let's scroll down again. Recycling isn't always green, so I'm going to do the same thing, Command T. And we're going to make that an H2 tag. Tab key, and that changes that. We have any more? Fireplace, fun or folly. Same thing. You just have to do them manually, one at a time. Command T, and change this to an H2 tag. And again, the reason that we're using these tags to go from H1 to H2 down to a P tag is that it has to do with the syntax that's used in web design. It's mostly for people with disabilities, especially those who are seeing impaired. That when the reader reads this to them, it will indicate to them what is a title, what is a main heading, what is the basic content or paragraph. Okay, so I've added my H2 tags. Now what I need to do is I need to either from, I'm just gonna do it, I can do it from here, I suppose. And I can select all the way down here. I don't want that, hold on here. Let's select that. I'm just gonna do it from, let's do the first one over here from the DOM and see if I can do that. So let me switch back to CSS Designer. So I need to wrap each of these into a into a section tag. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to hold down the Command key and select this one, and this one, and this one, and it's not showing. Why not? I don't trust it. So I'm going to do it by hand. Let me come back here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and I'll select the H2 tag and highlight it just so I can tell in the code view where I'm at. There we go. So right in front, right after this paragraph tag, but before the H2 tag, I'm going to add a section tag. Section tags are nothing more than other boxes that we can place content. They help us more than anything to break our content down into nice little bite-sized chunks. Then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of this before the next H2 tag. Okay, so that's before that one. And I'll put a closing tag here. Okay, so now when I come back up here, if I click anywhere inside any one of these paragraphs, I should be able to come down to the tag selector. And when I select the section, notice that there's a little orange box that's wrapped around the content for green buildings earn more green. Well, now I want to do that for each of the other groups. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll select the H2 tag down here. Shopping green saves energy. So I'll come right after that one. And I'm going to add, again, opening tag for section. And I'll automatically add the closing tag. And I'm going to copy that, cut it. So I just cut that, go down to the end. Right after this paragraph, but before the next H2 tag, I will place the closing tag. And while I'm here, I'm just going to do that for the other one. I'll go ahead and I'll add a section tag. And I'm going to go down to the bottom here. And I'm going to make my closing tag. And I'm going to add the last one. Fireplace, fun or folly. Section. And hopefully I don't have any spelling mistakes because it won't work if it doesn't. And after this last paragraph, but before the end of the article, I will place my closing tag. There we go. So we've added our content from an external source. And when you're working on your final the final project and the web design for your Dreamweaver project, you're going to do the same. You can actually copy and paste content from your Wix or your Mobirise website, any text that you have, and then use the formatting procedures that we are in here to stylize it. So the next thing that they want us to do, and the last thing for this part of this assignment, aside from adding the right aside, which is the same thing, it will be the same procedure, is I need to go to, let's go to our CSS Designer here. There we go. And I'm going to select the H2 tag. And you'll notice that we already have an inline style for H2. We have H2 tags here. But what I want to do is for green styles, I'm going to select this, come on. I want to select, oh, I don't want current, I want all. There we go. So I want to select not bootstrap, but green styles. And I'm going to go ahead and add a style now that will affect just H2 tags inside a section. So anytime you add a section, unless you specify a new classification or a new class, it will, and you add an H2 tag, it will take on these attributes. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new selector. And it only needs to be section space H2. H2. There we go. Okay, now when I click on here, notice that it's highlighting the H2 tag in light blue. It's actually highlighting all of them because they're all contained inside section tags. Got it? Okie doke. So now we can go to type, because that's what we're going to change, and we want it to be green. And the green that we're using, I forget. Color is, let's see, I'm using hexadecimal numbers. There we go. I'm going to use pound or octothorpe, hashtag, whatever you want to call it. It's 090. Okay, that's the green that we've used before. And click OK. And notice that it changes to green. Now, there's a few more things that they want us to add to this. They want us to, in addition to the color, they want us to add the font size. So to a percentage, and we're going to use 170%, 170. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. And we want to make sure that the font style is bold. Hold on here. I don't want that. Font variant. Come on. Where are you? Oh, should be bold. Font weight, sorry, that's what I wanted. Where's font weight? Font, there we go, right there. Bold. Okay, so it's a little bit bolder. And then under the margins and padding, we're going to change a couple of things. So the top margin here is going to be 15 pixels. So we're boosting that up a little bit. And the bottom margin is going to be 5 pixels. So actually, I don't know that I've explained this to you before, but what you do is you're basically going to, when you look between these two sections, it actually takes on the top attribute, the 15 pixels. So that there's 15 pixels between each. Okay, so you're going to do the same for the right side and follow the instructions for that. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do in a moment is I wanted to cover lists, unordered lists, and that will be for our next page. But before I do, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and see who's here. So do you guys have any? Yes, wait a minute. Gilbert Nunez, yes, joining the meeting is your attendance. And it's important that you do attend, at least for a short while. If you come and you go, that's okay. As long as you turn in the assignments when they are, you know, if you find that my lectures really aren't very helpful, so be it. And if you can do most of the work on your own and attend only as needed, that's fine. But what I would do is for every meeting, at least check in so that I can check you off roll sheet. Because if I don't see you for a length of time, I think it will be the last 4 weeks of class, I'm required to drop students. And if I haven't heard from people by the last month of class, I will, you know, send an email out beforehand, but I will drop people who are not participating. And it's not as a means to punish, you know, all of you. It will be just to make sure that I don't have to assign a grade, and that unfortunately would probably be a D or an F. So does that help everybody so far? Anybody? Angelica, are you there? Is your speaker, your microphone's turned on? Yes? No? So what I wanted to do next is move on to the next section of the assignment, which is green tips. And then we'll work on that, and then that should pretty much do it for today. We should be done unless you have any more questions. So Joel understands, we're good. There's also a Q&A. You know, if you have questions, you can post them there, or you can just post them inside the chat, and I will look at that from time to time. When I'm sharing my screen, I don't see the chat, not at all. So it will alert me, and I'll pause from time to time. Does this seem to be working out for everybody? It's not ideal, but it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share again. So let's go back up, and I'm going to share the screen again. And we'll work on the next section. Okay, so we're going to do what I've done before. We're going to go to File, New. Actually, I should, before I do anything, I haven't saved any of this, and I'm just going to save this file, save as Green News. I'm going to save it as Green News working file so that I haven't screwed anything up. I need to go back and change it. There we go. Okay. In my lesson 9 folder. But also remember, by saving it this way, and this is easy to forget, and as long as I've been doing this, I do forget it from time to time, is that you'll notice up here that green styles, that we've updated it, and it has not been saved. So before you log out, before you're done with your lesson, make sure that you go to File, Save All. And that will, if you've changed any CSS, or you've changed any jQuery, or you've changed the source code or whatever, it will save everything so that the next time that you open it up, you'll be good to go. Okay, so let's start another one. Let's go to File, New. And again, it's going to be from our template. And I'm probably forgetting a few things. But for example, for the title of the page, you know, that's what we will be changing that, and that's done in the properties panel. We can add. So we'll be doing that on another day. We don't need to do that now. That's down here, document title, Meridian Green Association. Now this is what we can add down here. And that will come up in a tab when you publish it. So the same thing. It's almost the same thing, not quite, but again, this is adding content this way is the easy part. Instead of, we do this by hand, again, for the H1 tag, and this is going to be green tips. And again, we can eliminate the subtitle. We don't need that. We can add the main content here. And this one says, I'm having a hard time reading it. Type is so small. Here are some important ways to save energy and money in your home, excuse me, office and in your community. Okay, so just as we had done before with the last time, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the P tag is selected. I'm going to switch from live view to design view so that I can paste it in there. I may have to do that again because I think it's copying it in there, and I don't want that. I don't want it to be after that. There we go. So I'm going to go back to our files. Let's go to our resource files, and this is the green tips RTF, rich text format. There we go. You can see that it's broken down a little differently, but this is just in text edit. So if you're using Word, text edit, Pages, if you're on Macintosh, any Word document will be fine. In fact, you can copy and paste from a website. That will do as well. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, select all, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to hide the text. I'm going to come back here and paste. And it brings in all the paragraphs. Okay. So I'm going to go back to live view now that I pasted everything in there. Let's come back. And again, I'm going to have to add H2 tags. I'm going to have to add section tags. But then the last thing that we're going to add at the bottom is creating an unordered list, which is very simple. So I'm going to click right here. And this should be where it says add home. I don't want that in there. That doesn't belong in there. So I goofed. This belongs in its own paragraph tag outside of that. So I'll create a new paragraph tag outside of that. Here's our P tag. Actually, it's going to be, it's going to be an H2 tag. So let me just do that now. H2. And we'll make the closing tag for H2. Come back over here. And where it says at home, I'll just move that inside the H2 tag. Where did it go? Where's my H2 tag? I don't see it. Let me go out of here for a minute. The design view. Let's go back to live view and see if it pops up. So I may have put it in the wrong location. I don't think so. Oh, I know why it's not showing up, because I forgot the right bracket, the right. There we go. Okay. And I don't know what the heck, there we go. We got going on there. There we go. So that's H2. H2, closing tag. I have extra ones here. Oh, I do have an extra caret at the end there. That doesn't belong there. Okay, so let's go ahead and for each of these titles. So at home, where's the next one? I can't see. Where's the next one? There we go, at work. So at work instead of the next one here. There we go. So instead of a P tag, this is going to be an H2 tag. So H2. So we're just sort of repeating what we've done before. And I'm going to put each of these in a section, but the one difference will be that each of these items will be unordered lists. So in the community, come on. There we go. So again, this changes from a P tag to an H2 tag. And how many more? Is that it? There might be more that I've missed. I think I have them all. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start back up here at home. And I just prefer doing it. The book has a little bit different way of approaching this, but I just like doing it from code view. And I'm going to add my section tag here. Section. And then we'll put the closing tag at the bottom here, right after the last item there. So this will be the closing tag. And notice that from our formatting from the last page, that the H2 tag is already formatted now with the green, the bold, and the 170% and that sort of thing. So for each of these, the same applies. I'll go ahead and I'll put in my opening tag section. Go to the end and place my closing tag. And then again, an opening tag. And after the last community, but before the end of the article, my closing tag. And we have that formatted. So the very last thing that we need to do for this main content is we need to select, and we can do that from, if I want, I can do that from design view, might be easier for us. And I'm going to select all of these paragraphs. Just click and drag to highlight them all. All the way to the end. And if I look at the bottom, I hope everybody can see, I'm going to move this up in the properties panel. If we start up here, format, paragraph, class, then we have bold, italic. These two items here, this is the one that we're going to use. This is an unordered list. And as soon as I click on that, notice what it does. It adds a bullet point to each of those items. And it puts all of those paragraphs into an unordered list. And if we look at the, let me move this over like so. If we look at the code view, you can see now, instead of each of those items being individual paragraph tags, that they are now put in a UL or unordered list. So there's the opening tag for the unordered list. There's the closing tag, and then each one of those items is considered a list item or LI. Now, if you want an ordered list, that would be OL. And the same would be true, that I could come back in here and I could highlight all of them. So I rarely use ordered lists. I think they just don't look all that great, but I guess they could be important if you need to use them. But if I switch, notice that it adds numerals to those in short order. Very nice. And unordered lists, as well as ordered lists, are used a lot in the web. I think I've mentioned before that in web design, it's really not a place to create 10,000 word articles or essays. More importantly, it's for you to say what you need to say in very short bursts. And unordered lists are an important way of doing that. So we could do the same for the at work and in the community, highlight all of those and do the same. Let's see, I'm sure there's some more to add content to the right aside. for today, that's all I wanted to cover. So yeah, that's it. We'll start with page 266, creating indented text. And we'll be creating a different class for a different page then. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, come back to all of you, see who's here. Okay, Angelica, you have your hand raised. You have a question. You there, Angelica? You should be able to speak, or you can put it, add it to the chat, or do you have it? No? Well, if there aren't any more questions, we're good for today, and you're welcome to, let me, before you leave though, let me go ahead and take roll. So I'm going to get my roll sheet here, and I'm going to put this on this page here, so I can come back. Okie doke. So let's see, Maria Campoverde didn't show up today. Diego, not here today. It's too bad. Ashley is not here. Stella is here. Brian Delgado. I don't know if Brian was here or not earlier, but I'll just say that he's not. Alex is here today. Myra Zamora, not here. Joel Gutierrez is here today. Walter, not here. Gilbert Nunez is here. I think both Gilbert and Jared Nunez were here. Reggie Robledo, not here. Oh, Angelica was here. So sorry about that. So Reggie is not here. Tananzan, not here today. Fernando Saucedo is here. And Mario Valdez, not here. Okay, so I think I have everybody. Okay, so please, 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 all of you who remain here, to be in touch. You know, if you feel that my lectures are not helpful, that's fine, and you can work better alone and do the lessons by yourself and work on your MobiRise website by yourself, that's all good. What I do recommend for those of you who do have, who can share your monitor, that you do that from time to time, if you're, especially if you're having an issue with a particular lesson, or you want feedback on your website, your MobiRise website, or if you begin your Dreamweaver website and want feedback, then you can share your screen with me and I can look at it and I can give you feedback. So there's a new message down here at the bottom. No, I have no questions, just letting you know that I was following along. Okay, that's great. When is lesson 9 in MobiRise due? I haven't decided yet. I'm going to continue with lesson 9 is fairly lengthy. So on Tuesday, we'll continue with it, and I will do more of it. Mobilize won't be due for a couple of weeks either. I'm at the moment just sort of playing this by ear, since I figure it's going to take a little bit longer for everybody to get the lessons and to get the assignments done. So as I said, we're shortening our assignments. You won't be as much due in your final assignment, but Mobilize should be easy for you, but you may have difficulty publishing it. I don't know. So we'll see. So that's it. We're done for today. If you guys don't have any more questions, you're free to leave, and you can go ahead, and I'll see you Tuesday. And remember that the lessons are on, if you don't have the lessons, but you have the textbook, you can get them directly from PeachPit if you look at the instructions at the beginning of the textbook, or you can download all of the lessons that I've made available to you on Google Drive. There is a folder on our class's Google Drive with all of the lessons in it, so you can you can download the lessons from there as well. But this next Tuesday, we'll continue with this lesson, and we'll do a bit more, and we'll probably start the tables as well as do there's a couple more pages that we need to do. Lesson 10, when we get to that, probably by the end of next week, is really what we it's sort of what we covered at the beginning of the semester. I went out of order. It was covering inputting images, but there are a couple of good items that we can glean from that lesson that I haven't covered yet. So that will be helpful. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions and you're all good, just for the link to the one on Tuesday, just to go to this week in class next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and we will continue. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording, and